Hello everybody and welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark Goldbridge in my studio and look, there is lots of news coming out this morning. Kai Havertz to Arsenal, the bids are going in. Spurs pulling out of a David Raya deal. Also Cancelo leaving Man City. Big news is though Jurien Timber to Arsenal, and also people had forgotten about this. Chelsea announcing the arrival of Nkunku. It's almost been forgotten because it was a deal that was sort of sorted out a year ago, wasn't it? And what a player he is. I think this is one that maybe Chelsea fans had almost forgotten about themselves. Really exciting player. Really exciting deal for Chelsea. Look, if I'm being honest, this is why the likes of Mason Mount and Ziyech and Havertz do need to go, because there's an abundance of what I believe is potential quality attacking midfielders at Chelsea. And people will say, yeah, Nkunku can play up front. But realistically, I don't think he's he's not Lewandowski, he's not Benzema, he's not Harry Kane, and he isn't Erling Haaland. He's not an out-and-out striker at this point. I think he's the sort of player that plays in and around that. He can certainly do a job there, but they need an out-and-out striker. But really exciting for Chelsea, and not a player I'd forgotten about. It was always a deal that was going to happen. I think there was even people at some point that were saying, oh, will he sign for Chelsea? Well, this deal had been sorted out. I mean, I don't think it was even pull-outable. So Nkunku signing Chelsea, really exciting. Welcome to the Premier League, and I think he's going to be a strong addition for Chelsea, who, for me at the moment, are the big unknown in relation to next season. Lots of ins and outs. We know Kovacic is going to go to Man City. Mason Mount potentially going to go to Manchester United, which frees up more money. I mean, Chelsea are doing good business. I said this on the United Stand this morning. If they get 100 million from Saudi Arabia for 3 players, Havertz, Kovacic and Mount, you probably raised over 200. Well, you have raised over 200 million pounds there, which makes it easier to bring more quality players in, like Casido and Nkunku. The future could be interesting for Chelsea. Staying in London, though, massive news. Obviously, Havertz to Arsenal would be good for Arsenal. I think. Look, I was one of Havertz's biggest critics last season. Dreadful season, but not the only one. There was plenty of Chelsea players who had bad seasons, but there is a good player there, and I think that the interesting thing about Havertz is the options it would open up at Arteta. Obviously, Jesus is the main man, but Havertz could almost do that job. He could do Odegaard's job. He could play off the wide. I think it gives Arsenal the thing that Arsenal always needed to do in Arteta's journey, which is, and I said this last year, I think Arsenal overachieved massively last year, but you can see from, well, I could see and some of you could see what Arteta was building from day one. And I think that actually this season was always going to be, regardless of what Arsenal achieved last season, building the bench. They've got a good first 11. There's still a couple of things they can do in the first 11, but building the bench. And Havertz, whether he starts or not, it will obviously strengthen your bench to a level that will allow Arsenal to be more competitive. Declan Rice, we expect that to come in. But the interesting one for me is the link to Jurien Timber, which is coming in last night from David Ornstein. So it's a good story. What do I think about Timber? Look, he's a player that United were looking at a year ago. I like him. I don't think he's a player that United would go looking at again, if I'm completely honest. But again, Arsenal did want Martinez. We ended up with Martinez. They do need another centre-back. I think the loss of Saliba was crucial for Arsenal's title hopes. Their season sort of imploded from that point, if we're being completely honest. And I think that Timber's a decent deal. Now, whether they can get a decent deal out of Ajax remains to be seen. £30 million apparently. I think they'll pay a little bit more than that. You would imagine add-ons would get included in that. But look, Havertz, Timber and Declan Rice, I'm willing to say it here, would be a good... And I'm loath to say they win the transfer window, because I said that about Spurs last year, because on paper I think you can have a good transfer window. It's what happens on grass, or synthetic grass as they play on now. But I feel that if you bring in Timber, Havertz and Declan Rice, not only are you adding quality to your team, you are also adding to your spine. And maybe that's what Arsenal were lacking a little bit last year. Fantastic season for them. I don't know any Arsenal fan that wouldn't acknowledge that at this point. But yeah, look, Declan Rice would massively improve you. Timber's a quality, exciting centre-back, and Havertz comes with risk, but also comes with high rewards for a club like Arsenal. So I think that bit of business and it's going to cost you about £200 million all in. And realistically, do Arsenal need 5 or 6 signings? No, I think they need 3 strong signings. And I don't think that would be the end of their summer transfer window either. So, look, I think that Timber news, as a Man United fan, for Arsenal is exciting. I would welcome that. So I think that let's see what happens with that. I can't see there being a lot of competition for him. Maybe Liverpool come into it. The one thing that Arsenal would always concern themselves about is whether other clubs are going to come in for a player. I know they're a little bit nervous around Declan Rice at the moment. I know they're a little bit nervous around well, obviously be nervous around Timber as well. But ultimately, Arsenal look to me like a club that are getting business done. And Arsenal, to me, look like a club that are trying to move things quickly. But I would be pretty happy with that if I was an Arsenal fan at the moment. And look, speaking as a Manchester United fan, we're not doing anything. You know, we're stood at the entrance to the shop on Boxing Day sales and we're just stood there with our pants down. We're not doing anything. So I think it's a good deal if Arsenal can do it. And I think they're working well at the moment, and the players that they're being linked to are good. On Declan Rice, I would hazard a guess that should escalate quite quickly now. I think that internationals sort of finish today, don't they? England finished last night. Players go on holiday. They don't go on holiday and don't pick the phone up. Like, in fact, that's probably what they're doing. Gone are the days of footballers going on holiday, going on a big piss up. Gone are the days of footballers going on holiday and reading a book. In fact, most footballers wouldn't know how to do that. So they're going to be on their phones. They're going to be on their phones to their agent. They're going to be on social media. I think this deal gets done. I think West Ham have been waiting for Declan Rice to finish with England, and I think that deal will get done. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if that deal was done by some point in the next 7 days, maybe even by the weekend. So Arsenal progressing well. Chelsea clear. I mean, look, Chelsea's transfer window, I'm sure Chelsea fans would like to see a little bit more activity. We were talking about that last week, but Nkunku is a good signing, and you're probably doing it the right way at the moment with regards to moving players out to, free spaces up, free budget up. I still think Liverpool are going to get a deal done quick. I know I said that last week, but look, it's not been a week yet, and no one else is doing deals. So, we're not talking about days or hours. I'm talking about ahead of everybody else. I still think Liverpool are on the verge of a deal. Now, is that impacted by the internationals? Probably. I think the hold-up at the moment is a lot of players are on international duty. But I fully expect to see some movement over the next few days, certainly around Arsenal and Chelsea. And I wouldn't be surprised Liverpool as well. Smash a like on the video. Get your comments in. What do you think about Arsenal getting Havertz, Timber? What do you think about that? What are your thoughts on Nkunku? What are your thoughts on Chelsea's transfer business so far? They're getting the money in to create space. That's what they're doing. Make sure you smash a like and subscribe. I'll speak to you on the next one.